Thanks for joining me. It's Nicole Dominique from Nicole Beauty Co. Today I am so excited to share with you an unboxing of brand new makeup brushes because let me tell you, some of my makeup brushes in my collection are literally 15 plus years old. They are just definitely ready to be retired. Some of them just didn't make it through my last wash, which meant I was hopping onto Sephora during the Labor Day sale and picking up some new brushes. So my first purchase is the Sephora Advanced Airbrush collection. You can see, came in a nice little leatherette case. Now, I do not generally use these. I have a long leather apron that has a fold that I keep all my brushes in, so I'm gonna take these out of here almost immediately. This one sold for $28. Now, when you're evaluating a brush, the four main points that you want to consider are, how does it feel in your hand? Some people like short handles because they feel it gives them greater control. Some people like long handles because they feel like it gives them greater control. I think it's really important to evaluate how the brush actually feels, so if at all possible, try to go to a store and physically pick up the brush before you buy it, because pictures don't always give you scale, they certainly don't give you weight, and they can't allow you to evaluate the fibers. Now, all the fibers of the brushes I got today are synthetic and therefore cruelty-free. So number one, evaluate how the brush feels. If cruelty-free is an issue for you, you might want to evaluate that too. Now, I think that synthetic brushes are an excellent way to go for several reasons. They are not porous the way real animal fiber hair is. You don't have to be concerned about how that fiber was gathered, and the fibers are extremely uniform. So in addition to not being porous, meaning they're not going to suck up extra pieces of your makeup, you're not going to lose a lot of foundation to the porousness of the hair, but also the diameter, the flex, and the pack of the hair as they sit next to each other is always going to be uniform because each shape is uniform. Therefore, in my opinion, you actually get a much more uniform application of makeup using synthetic as opposed to using natural hair. When you use natural fibers like hair, you are at the mercy of what that animal went through before the hair was gathered, what its diet was, what the temperature was, what the time of year was, whether it was healthy or whether it was, frail. Those types of things are going to affect the way the loft of that fiber, the casing of the fiber, the flexibility of the fiber, and it's just too many wild card factors for me. I'm not really a fan of natural fiber brushes. I really prefer synthetic. The other thing, in addition to the handle, you want to make sure that the product actually functions the way that you want. I tend to prefer synthetic, as I just mentioned, for a lot of different reasons, but if the brush doesn't function the way you want it to, it doesn't matter what the handle is or whether it's cute or any of those things, you want to make sure it actually does the job because that's first and foremost why you're buying it. Lots of different people have preferences in makeup. Some people prefer to use beauty blenders, their fingers. Other people like brushes. I love a good brush. I am a fan of a beauty blender. I don't often like to use my fingers personally. I feel that when I use my fingers, I tend to pick up the product and not deposit it very evenly. I feel like a beauty blender and brushes just do a much better job in terms of actually applying the product where I want it to go. So, form, function, I think style matters. If it makes you feel good when you pick it up, that's certainly a point in its favor. If you're like, it's just a brush, nobody wants that. You want to feel good when you use the tools that you are putting on your face. I think you get a much better result if you enjoy the process and you can experiment and you can feel like this is your creative moment in the morning before you go and interact with the world. So I do think having a certain amount of fun factor counts. Of course, price is a thing. Everybody has a budget. Some people can only afford entry-level brushes. Some people can afford mid-level brushes. Some people can afford crazy expensive brushes. So I am retiring a lot of my very low-end brushes for this set of mid-level brushes by Sephora. So let's get into that. This is our first one, the airbrush powder, nice silver ferrule. Hopefully that gives you a idea of the scale of the brush. It feels good in my hand. And this is going to be a really nice, soft brush. It's packed, but it's not stiff. It definitely is going to hug the curves of my face. We're going to do some makeup with these in a different video, but this is just our unboxing. Next one is our Precise foundation brush. And this one has a little bit of a filbert curve. It's ever so slightly angled. And that's just so that when you are reaching the curves of your skull, it actually adheres to that. So this is going to be a fun brush to try. I'm excited about that. Our next brush is our airbrush concealer. You can kind of see the size there. It's a much more firm brush than the others. And I think it is definitely going to be more precise because it is a more firm fiber. And that's good when you're getting into your tear troughs and your creases. You definitely want that. Here is an airbrush crease. And you can see it's just a mini teardrop, nice rounded angle. It is a nice mix in terms of firmness and flexibility. I think this is going to get into the eye crease and do an excellent job. But we're going to test it out later on. Of course, we have our airbrush shadow, which is a shorter fiber. It's more firmly packed. It's definitely going to spread and blend the product better than a fluffy brush. So our advanced airbrush set, available on Sephora currently for $28. Pretty stoked about that. The next set that I totally was in love with, contour, because I love me some contour. So this is the Uncomplicated Contouring Brush Set, and it sold for $45. And it consists of a bronzer brush, a highlight brush, a contour brush, and a blush brush. So at $45 for a bronzer, a highlighter, a contour, and a blush brush, I'm pretty excited to try this out. So this is how it came. So the Sephora Uncomplicated Contouring Brush set, you'll notice they're kind of a light bronze color, silver ferrule. Again, completely synthetic. Nice teardrop shape for this highlighting brush. That's going to allow you to just really pack it on. Dab, 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 right where you want it. Fabulous. I'm excited. Of course, who doesn't need a fluffy, lovely bronzer brush? I think this is going to be great fun for that. I don't use bronzer often, but when I do use it, a fluffy brush is totally a must. Gives you an idea of scale. Here we go. A blush brush, a nice tapered ovular tip. Super fluffy, that's going to be fun. And the reason I bought this set, boom, this guy. I love this angle. I am excited to try it. You know, I love me some contour. Contour is amazing. So I think that this is going to be really fun. It's just going to grab and just place it right where I want and be able to buff it out. But we're going to try it. It did come with a little insert that is a tutorial on how to contour, and of course it gives you a wallet. Again, I already have a much larger one of these, so I'm not going to use this, but I'll donate it. Maybe somebody else can use it. Are definitely a huge difference between the Pro line of brushes from Sephora and the regular line. So I got one Pro line, and it comes with one of these coffins for the top. Now, a lot of people like these because they're reusable and they keep dirt and debris off of your makeup brush. And they're just a great way to keep them from getting crushed if they travel. I don't use them. To me, this brush, which is number 52, and hopefully you can see, has quite an intense angle on it so that you can really just stipple your concealer in. I'm looking forward to using this. This is more the length that I generally prefer in a brush, which you can kind of see the difference lengthwise. I prefer very long handled brushes. I don't feel like I have as much control when they're short and I'm having to choke up on the brush onto the ferrule. It's just not as nice of an experience for me. I don't feel like I get as good of a result. And I personally, being nearly 50, I have some hand problems because I'm a tattoo artist. So I need brushes that are comfortable in my hand, especially if I'm blending and the blending is taking a long time. The last thing I want is some brush where I'm like this and my hands are hurting. I definitely don't want to hurt when I put on my makeup. So this lovely brush at $16, such a steal. I'm excited to try it. I think that that angle is going to be fantastic. And then for the money shot, look at my Pinrose Clever Devil set. I love some iridescent. This is a 5-brush set and it was $28. So let's just get it out of the box. Yay. Okay, so I have to be really, really honest. I just really loved the holographic effect and the lovely rainbow. Look at that, adorable. Let me put these other guys down. So this one has a very subtle angle. I don't think it's really something you can see, but you can definitely feel there's like a point here and a more rounded tip that goes up to that. That is going to be great for smudging a smoky eye. And they're surprisingly heavy, which is always nice. I like more substantial tools myself. I'm not a fan of like super crazy lightweight. Here we go. This is going to be a fantastic brush. I am loving it. Loving. Next guy. Size. Very densely packed. Very densely packed. This is going to be our cheek brush. This is going to be a crease brush. So all these brushes feel fantastic in my hand. I'm excited to try them. I can tell that some of these brushes appear to have a better fiber pack than some of my low-end brushes. I have brushes in my collection as little as $1 all the way up to probably $30 or $40 at the high end. And that is our unboxing. Thank you for joining me. I can't wait to see you again. If you're curious about my makeup look, today, all my products are going to be listed in my description. Thank you for joining me. Can't wait to see you next time. Have a great day.